Good evening and welcome to the Monomoy Regional School Committee meeting of February 10th, 2016, and I call the meeting to order at 7:03. First on the agenda is approval of the minutes from January 27th, 2016.
I move to approve the minutes of January 27, 2016.
Second.
Any discussion on the minutes?
Yes. Under Age Subcommittee reports, cafeteria charging policy, the policy subcommittee did meet. And we were waiting for answers from Katie Asernia that had come out of the meeting in order to continue reviewing the policy. So we did meet.
Okay.
And we were waiting for answers, which we have since received, of course, but.
Yeah. They met and had further questions.
Correct.
So I move to approve the minutes subject with that correction.
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Approved. Next on the agenda is public comment. Hearing and seeing none, we move on to our favorite part of the meeting. Laney is going to fill us in on everything that's going on and how excited everybody is to be going on vacation.
And Iowa.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Great. Okay, so we're all here to talk about Iowa, right? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But I'll start with that because there's a lot to go over. So 13 of us from the AP government class went to Iowa last weekend, the weekend before. We left on Saturday morning. We flew to Chicago, took a bus to Des Moines, and we were there. We left Tuesday night after several flight delays, so we made it home. So I just wanted to go over what we did and who we saw and what we learned. So basically, we went to the Iowa caucuses the last night, the Democratic caucus at the University of Iowa, where Bernie won. And we met Sarah Palin at the Donald Trump rally in Waterloo, and we got to see Mr. Trump in person twice, which was not as exciting as expected, but it was still interesting. We also went to a Hillary Clinton rally in Des Moines. We saw Chris Christie in Ames, Iowa. We went to the Historic Valley Junction in West Des Moines to see Mike Huckabee. And it was interesting too because all of the different rallies were like Mr. Huckabee was in a coffee shop, whereas Hillary Clinton was in like a huge high school gymnasium. So it really varied depending on the candidate. We also, at the Mike Huckabee event, we met several senators along the way too. We met Arkansas Senator Chuck Grassley. Some of you may be familiar with the term the full Grassley, doing all 99 counties in Iowa. We also went to the Iowa State Historical Society. We went to see Martin O'Malley in Johnston, Iowa at someone's house. So we really went to all these different interesting places. We also
doing the second day.
Oh God, right? No, we spaced it out. We met this was interesting. We met the DC Shadow Congressional Delegation, 2 of the representatives at the Martin O'Malley event. They don't get to vote, but they're still representatives. We also went to Carly Fiorina in a grocery store. And we saw Bernie Sanders in Cedar Rapids, which was huge. And then when we first got there, the first person that we met and got to talk to was Jeb Bush in Cedar Falls. And also when we were there, we got interviewed by NBC and ABC, and we were actually featured on the news, which was pretty cool. And we also, I believe, had a write-up in the Chronicle and the Times. So, I mean, we're famous, basically. So it was really cool. It was all girls, and I just want to say thank you to Mr. Dixon, our government teacher, because he is really awesome, and he was super patient with all of us, and we had a really good time, and we spent a lot of time on the bus together bonding, talking about politics, and also a thank you we had several parent chaperones. So it was really fun. We had a really good time, and we learned a lot, and we're continuing our discussion in government, so it's going well. And also just some quick little things. Over February vacation, we have 4 kids going to Cuba with Miss Richard, with EF Tours. Also, there were several students that were featured in the All Cape Music Festival at the Tech School last weekend. And the junior class had a pretty successful Valentine's Day dance over this past weekend. So that's all I've got.
How did we the people do?
One of the groups, right, that was when we were in Iowa. One of the groups got an award for speaking well or something, but they didn't place. I think there were 5 groups, and I want to say they came in 4th. Yes, yeah. So,
Okay.
yep. Thank you very much.
Thank you, lady.
Thanks, Lynn.
Next on the agenda is recognitions, and I know this was done last time, but I'd really like to recognize our charity for their donation that allowed the entire middle school to go to see Mary Poppins at Wheelock College. That was a fantastic trip for everyone that was involved.
400
And you have a few others?
Yeah, I do.
And they all came
Steve,
back.
Steve, to piggyback on that with the Art of Charity, they're also helping fund the 6th grade class to go to the Finest Hours tomorrow at the Orpheum. So they're doing some great things.
And it's a whole day event, isn't it?
Right, they're going on several field trips, or they're going on a full day field trip. They're going to Chatham Bars Inn to see the exhibits there, and they're going to see the movie
They're going to Chatham Light.
in this Chatham Lighthouse. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I have a couple of recognitions on behalf of the superintendent, who is not able to be here tonight. We'd like to thank Cassidy Cotrin, who's the manager of Shaw's Supermarket. On behalf of the school committee, they made a donation of $500 to the Monomoy Regional High School Athletic Department. So we want to thank Shaw's. And Scott asked if I would make sure that we thanked all of the custodians for all of their hard work through all of the snow and perseverance through the timing of the storm so that we were ready to open up the schools on Tuesday. And want to make sure we give a big thank you to all of the custodial staff. That's all.
Okay. Reports and discussions. FY17 budget update.
So, you mentioned that Laney was your favorite part of the meetings. So this past week, the superintendent and I presented the draft budget on Monday, February 1st, to the Howard Board of Selectmen and FinCom. And on Tuesday evening, we presented to the Chatham Board of Selectmen, and then on Thursday, we went to the Chatham Finance Committee and presented the FY17 draft budget. A lot of support from the school committee members as well. I thought that all of the presentations were very well received. We were commended on the detail and the clarity, and there's a more understanding in the communities on the makeup of the budgets. You know, we did say that everything was draft and that, you know, as more firm numbers come through, numbers may or may not change, and we presented the overall general fund budget was up 3.8, but the overall assessment was up 5.29%, and I think that everybody understands that now, how the two differ. So we will be presenting, I think the public hearing on the budget will be the next school committee meeting, and hopefully we'll have even more firm numbers at that point. Today, we met and the Cape Cod Municipal Health Group approved the rate increases for FY17, and they're coming in, some of the plans, the overall increase is 9.8%, however, some of the plans are going up 11%, so I think that we're right where we need to be in the budget because we were cautioned that the retiree health insurance rates will be going up higher than originally thought, and their plans are on a calendar year versus a fiscal year, so 6 months will be impacted by that. So I think that where we are in our budget right now is where we should stay. We were hoping that maybe we could make some adjustments in that line item. But I haven't been able to crunch any, that was hot off the press this afternoon. So, I don't know if anyone has any specific questions, but I thought that everything went very well out in the communities.
Indoor air quality plan.
That's me again. So again, in your packets, it's IAQ, so we'll get to know IAQ, that's indoor air quality. There is a very helpful tool that the EPA puts together for us. It's called Tools for Schools, and it's all ties with, the air quality and the environmental concerns and things of your buildings. And what this is, they have model templates that literally you can just lift and adopt from the various websites. And as a district, we should have an IAQ plan that we vote on and follow, and it really ties into those policies that we've adopted over the last few sessions about food in schools and painting policies, etc. So this plan, if you could look it over, maybe next time we would vote on the plan, and then we don't need to vote on it again until such time, if ever, anything major changes to the IAQ plan. And really it is a template that you just more or less insert your own districts, and then you kind of, adapt it to how we function as a district.
Any questions? Some light reading for the weekend. Move on to subcommittee reports.
I could give a report from the interview committee. From our group, Karen and I are on the interview committee for the Director of Student Services. Our current director, Joan Goggin, announced that she's retiring, and so we've advertised in the Boston Globe. That started January 10th. This particular position is a joint hire with the school committee and the superintendent. So there's 11 members on the interview committee, 2 from the school committee, 4 teachers, Katie Cernio, Carla Blanchard, the curriculum director, and Scott, 2 parents. There were 11 qualified individuals who applied for the position. After the full hiring committee screened the applicants, 6 of the most promising were chosen for interviews, and those interviews have just been finalized, finished as of last night, and 2 candidates from there are being brought forward. But the names of the people that applied and the candidates, none of that will be made public until February 15th. And February 15th, it will come out in the Chronicle and it will be announced publicly. Reference checks need to be done between February 15th and February 23rd. On February 22nd, Monday, the hiring committee will conduct a site visit to the finalist home district. On Tuesday, February 23rd, the finalists will come and do a tour here. And then on the 23rd, we'll be having the interview committee reconvene and bring something forward at our next school committee meeting, not as we expected in March. We'll be doing it at the next one because it seems as though there's some consensus if everything checks out from now till then on these 2 candidates. So we can maybe get a pick before they get someplace else. The 24th.
Right.
The 24th. Thank you.
I had a collaborative meeting today, 2 collaborative meetings today, and I don't have a specific report necessarily associated with the collaborative, but I would remind everybody that the legislative breakfast is this Friday. If you haven't signed up already, technically it's too late, but if you tell me tonight, I happen to have the director's email, and he told me I could give him last minute names. I can't go this year. I was really looking forward to it. I've been before, but I have to work. But pretty much I got the list tonight, pretty much every state, every Cape and Islands district rep is there, senators are gonna be there, a lot of superintendents, a lot of school committee people, and one of the featured speakers is a mucky muck from the Sturgis Charter School, which will be interesting because there's gonna be an awful lot of school committee people there. And I would be very interested in what the question and answer period is with regard to the school committee members and the people from Sturgis. And also, of course, I would expect there'd be some interesting conversations between school committee members and the representatives, state reps and senator, regarding charter school issues. So anybody that has not yet signed up and is now really excited, given the lineup that I've described here, let me know at the end of the meeting. Thank you. And it's a really good breakfast, not usual.
I have attended this when they were at dinner, and it was really wonderful. I won't be able to attend it this year, but it's been great.
Next item on the agenda is action items, and it's the declaration of surplus of equipment.
That's a lot.
That was a lot.
We're doing all of these? Is there any that might be excluded?
The majority of the items are outdated technology, things that have been down in storage rooms throughout the district. Some of them don't even offer plugs anymore they're not USB ports, and some of them are not compatible. But just because we're declaring them surplus doesn't mean that we'll throw them away. I was talking to a young man that belongs to a gadget club at the middle school, and one of the fun things that they do at the gadget club is take things apart. And he had a keyboard that he was taking apart, and I said, we might have a few computers that the gadget club might want to be taking apart. Many of these computers are, the really old, big, small screen, big monitors. And there is a company that that we were very involved with when we were closing down the schools, and they would come and they would recycle, and they would take the things for free and recycle the equipment. So I'll make sure first, as I've already done with I first made sure that the middle school didn't want the microscopes that the high school was, but they're not calibrated. It would cost more to get the microscopes functioning properly than it would be to replace them. So we're really obviously making sure that we have a good use for them here, but I want to let you know, I think that the technology director had been working with her staff to go literally in the basement of Howard Elementary School and in the basement of, in storage closets. So these are items that have not just been working, but they've been in closets and non-used for quite some time.
All right, going in. We'd like to move to declare surplus 3 LaserJet black and white printers, 1 LaserJet color printer, 1 business class laser fax, 1 all-in-one printer from Monomoy Regional Middle School. Should we go individually or all at once? All at once? 1 Chatham Middle High School sign. 2 flatbed scanners, 1 flatbed scanner, 3 additional flatbed scanners from Monomoy Regional Middle School, 72 CRT monitors, 75 CRT monitors, and 1 LCD monitor from the middle school, 14 laptops from the middle school, 2 battery backups from the middle school. 19 SFF desktops, 5 micro tower desktops, and 4 tower desktops from the middle school. A projector and an overhead projector from the middle school. A Title Maker CG 2 viewfinders, 1 digital AV mixer, 2 professional DVs, and 1 portable light from the TV studio. One plastic cart from Harwich High School, 1 GE microwave from Harwich High School, 4 American optical microscopes from Harwich High School, 1 microscope from Harwich High School, 1 thermal incubator from Harwich High School, and 1 cafe-style table, all from the loading dock at the high school. And 22 Dell desktops from Harwich Elementary School basement. 4 projectors from Harwich Elementary School storage. 2 inkjet printers from Harwich Elementary School storage. A laser printer from Harwich Elementary School storage. 8 HP laser printers from Harwich Elementary School storage. 13 keyboards from Harwich Elementary School storage. 3 CRT monitors from Harwich Elementary School storage. 1 Dell display from Harwich Elementary School storage. 10 Dell CRT monitors from Harwich Elementary School basement. A Harwich Elementary School sign. A projector screen estimated of 15 feet from the custodian room at Monomoy Middle School.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Jared?
Do we know what's going to happen with the Harwich Elementary School sign? I would imagine there might be some interest in that one.
We have a few memorabilia items that sort of swirling away, and that I think we should have an auction, including the 2 weather vanes that were on Howard High School. I liked the look of this Chatham sign that we just did, as well as that. So we'll just have to plan a venue to have some kind of a fundraising auction around some memorabilia.
Now, one of them was going to be going to the Squire.
I think that was the one, the other one, the old,
Chatham Middle School, high school
the one
sign.
that you could put letters up on, not this
This
particular
one
one.
was the office of the superintendent.
Right. Apparently that was recovered from a bonfire, that one time it was stolen years ago, that the police recovered it from a bonfire, so it's had a full life.
Maybe someone has some special memories.
That's exactly right.
Katie, the TV and video equipment has these pages from eBay on it. Are you looking for a way of selling those items? Is that what is happening there? Or of value?
Well, a little bit of both. What is helpful, some of the items, particularly from those types of things, we can put an ad in the paper and set aside a specific time, and anybody that would be interested in purchasing them can come and buy them, and then we could dispose of them after that. So there are a few things that we're declaring that I think are worth, we're not just gonna pitch them by any means.
Yep.
And then we'll just compile them as quickly as can be, put a little ad, and then let anybody have, whatever. Anything's better than nothing.
Thank you.
Any other discussion?
I do think that if we do have something like an auction, anything that's left over, if anyone can use it, I mean, basically our taxpayers paid for these things, so if something's left and we can't benefit from any money from it, if somebody can use anything, that would be great.
The technology department told me, like, most of the computers, they strip them and they take parts and they put aside things so that if they need to repair something else,
Okay.
they use them here. We're I think, a very conscientious group that, in
So they may
terms
not
of
be
that.
functional.
No, some of them, but they might be functional for a gadget club to take
Okay.
part.
There you go.
All those in favor of declaring the surplus equipment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? So moved. Yes.
Could I just, this is not surplus, it's just another item, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I just wanted to bring, just because we might need to vote on this at the next meeting, and I know that you'd like to have information. We have a, happening at the high school that our vans are being utilized, you know, with a lot of, for a lot of different purposes, all good, you're taking kids to job sites, et cetera. So the need arises for another van. So we belong to a Plymouth County group purchasing, and you could get leasing prices from, at a very favorable rate to lease to own. So at the end of the term, 3 years or 5 years, it pay for $1 and then we own the vehicle. Because right now, they're competing forces trying to get the kids where we need to bring them. So I've been getting pricing and working with the company, it's called MHQ, it's on the state contract list. So at the next meeting will be when I will bring to you to award a lease to this. And the reason I'm bringing up now, it came up after the packets were out, and I don't want to wait a whole nother month because the demand is great on these leasing. And it's also a wonderful way, some of our vans are getting old, and it'll be a good way for us to, you know, see how this works out with this particular company. The town of Chatham has used them in the past, and I've asked my colleagues, and they were highly recommended. So at the next meeting, I will be asking a vote on this particular item.
Steve,
Sure.
when you bring that to us and all the information, can you also let us know where you see that coming out of the budget?
I will, and it's gonna be used for a few different things, so I think we might be using a little bit of special ed money and some of the athletic revolving money, because we're hoping that it will be used for small teams, like a golf team and things. So I will
That
do
makes
that.
sense.
Maybe we should ask the Gadget Club to look at these older vans.
That's right.
Kind of an extended lease for a year, 6 months. Maybe we
Might
should.
cost us more money.
Any other questions? Well, so concludes our agenda for this evening. So I think we have a record.
We do.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye. I'm not due home till 9:30.
There we go. Why, somebody makes me start?
Exit 10 till 8:45.
Thank you.